Good evening. This is the, what month is it? June 11th, convening of the Whitman Open Space and Recreation Plan Implementation Committee. Present is Jason DeRozier, Chair.
Leanne McKenzie.
Ed Winnett.
Robert Trumbull.
Thank you. This is the rescheduled meeting from May. So to start, the minutes were shared with everyone electronically on email the other day, a couple of days ago. And I'd like to move the approval of the minutes from April 30th.
I make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All right, all in approval?
Yes.
All right, thank you, unanimous. All right, so in revisiting old business from our previous meetings, things to update everyone on is the Edward Drive site visit that Leanne and I went on, culvert assessments, invasive species workshop and plan, the dog park, skate park sort of site exploration, geese management plan, and the ADA grant. So starting off with Edward Drive.
Sure. Yep. Let me just pull up my notes on Edward Drive here. All right. So back on May 14th, we went over to Edward Drive. And the reason we went over there is because there are two parcels that we had noticed and had been indicated as having potential for open space or recreational use. So these parcels are both privately owned. Edward Drive bisects them. There's one on one side and one on the other, one much larger, one smaller. So we went over there, we viewed the parcels, very beautiful, but containing a large body of water on one side with the water going under the street, it seems. It was a culvert on the other side and then flowing that way. So very, very nice, but I think we had been considering this as a potential for a dog park too. Yeah. But after seeing it, it's not appropriate for a dog park, but it is appropriate for open space. I mean, it's really nice over there. If you ever, I had never been over to Edward Drive. It's a completely residential area, but really nice. Did also do a little research on the two parcels. Again, they are both privately owned at this time. I did talk to the collector just to see what the status of these parcels are. Taxes have not, and the two parcels are owned by the same party at this time. Taxes have not been paid on these parcels in many years, and both are currently in tax title status. I noted I'm not familiar with the tax title or the land court process. Of course, it would be best, I think, for the town to have ownership of these two parcels. I don't think they're buildable in any way anyway, but it probably would be good. So we looked at that, and then just thinking bigger picture where this is located. I do have on this map here.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
About the I thought we went to visit that because that was on the table 5, town-owned property. Mm-hmm. But the reality is it's private owned?
It's privately owned right now, and it is in tax title status.
So how did it get on the table 5?
Maybe because it's in tax title status? I don't know if that status would have mattered.
No, because not all land within Section 5 is necessarily town-owned. It's all under land use code. So, for example, there's nonprofit land that's existing in Section 5. Hornstra Farms, for example, is in Table 5. That's not town-owned. So a majority of it might be town-owned in some cases, but there are parcels here and there that aren't specifically town-owned. The reason why we went to go look at it is because it was on here and we didn't know what the recreational possibilities were for it, and so we just explored it to see sort of like a little bit more about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can show you the map too. You might have to print out what remains of this map. It was raining very hard that day.
It's in the center.
Yeah, so, all right, so this is Edward Drive, again, this got completely destroyed, but this is the first parcel, and this little piece is part of that big parcel, and this is the second parcel here. So this same person owns this both of these here. Now, as we noted, the town forest is right there. This parcel is owned by a different party. I checked on that one as well. The taxes on that are current, so that person is up to date. But this person has a California address, so they are absentee.
This is the one you and Jason and I walked through when I came through the forest.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a sewer easement runs all the way underneath Plymouth Street.
Yep. So,
Used to be no skating.
You know they have Clayton's parties?
Yeah, back in the day.
Shh, don't talk about it. That's the old skating.
it's really nice over there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Been out there. It's
quite a
beautiful.
row. People do go in there to skate.
Yeah.
You
No, it's
make
perfect
their way
for
in.
skating.
I think
Yeah.
there's a little bit of pass
There
still,
was.
but it's really getting overgrown.
Yeah.
The sewer easement runs just to the right of that. We've gone through there and cleared that. I don't know if you
Yeah,
noticed.
because it goes under the, there's a little,
If you
You
saw
didn't
it.
go that far
How
down.
open it was to the left.
there's a culvert right here.
There's another one.
Double that's one here. There's actually two, I believe.
Is it there?
Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's where we were at. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh, these are the names and actually I wrote it down. So didn't get washed.
What was
Fine.
the date that you guys,
That was May 14th. So anyway, as far as next steps with that, I mean, I can ask the assessor, so just, I think it'll be good anyway, just as a member of the Conservation Commission to understand how that process works anyway. So I will ask for that. We can kind of just keep this area in mind. The reason we were keeping in mind is just because of the path potentially to that town forest. So it's like if you connect all that, if the town has all that, you know, it's kind of a nice area. So we'll see, but yeah, it's good to get out there and see it.
Great, thank you. Any questions?
so, with respect to the skate park, I'm sorry, the dog park,
I have an update on that a little bit
because
later.
that's kind of what we're talking about with this, with this site visit. The Parker Bates field, I'm just catching notes up, because the community gardens there, the preference is not.
Yeah, I have another option for the dog park
Yeah.
that we went to see, and I think it's an option.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Do we want to
jump there? Sure.
talking about that?
So segueing dog park and skate park, Ryan, myself, and Bob went to go look at sort of the community field, the Bates Field sort of area, the community garden. Obviously, sort of thinking about what other options there could be for a dog park, and obviously sort of thinking about a skate park as well. If you go behind the field, there is sort of a basketball court that does not seem like it's used a whole lot. It needs to be. It looks like it might have been like street hockey one time. There's basketball sort of.
Memorial Field?
Yes.
It's in the rear part of the field, and then immediately adjacent to the right of that sort of like fenced off street hockey / basketball court is another fenced off area. That I was told, I think Bob said it might have been sort of like designated as like batting cages at one point, but there's really nothing there. It's already fenced off. And so I think it warrants additional sort of digging to see if that back section of the field could be a skate park. The basketball court area is large enough to do a small skate park. And then you could have a fenced-in dog park on the other side. And there was a gentleman walking his dog back there.
Oh.
And I did talk to him a little bit about sort of like whether or not, he would be interested in a dog park, and he seemed to be pretty interested in it. So it does warrant additional exploration. I did take some photos of that area, which I will pull up in a minute. So this is the... and I'll pass it around.
Okay.
Basketball court area.
Oh, so I've never been back there. Wow.
One year we painted a pickleball court for the seniors.
Where is that?
It's behind the field.
That's crazy.
Wait, so when you're standing at the police station entrance,
Yeah.
And the football shed is over here. The bleachers are down here.
This is behind the bleachers.
Kind of bleachers to the left, just facing the bleachers.
That's where the old skate park stuff used to be.
Behind it, yes, correct.
Then there's a basketball court there.
Yes. It's been a basketball court. It used to be street hockey in the 70s.
Yes, I do remember
Now it's
that.
back, it was a pickleball court for a short time. We painted for the seniors, they requested to be painted pickleball court.
And then they used.
And they didn't use it that much, it was too hot for them. They just took off, so they got repainted at that.
Which basically they didn't use because you got park.
Everybody goes to the park.
So skateboard there, and then behind that,
Is this other area?
where the batting cages used to be. would
This
be
is the other fenced off area that could serve, oh, wrong way. Serve as the dog park. The fence goes all the way around. I looked in the back.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of clearing that might be needed, but,
And that's where the batting cages used to be.
Yeah. It's all like
It's a
stone.
lot larger than I remembered it being.
I don't know, they,
Yeah.
so when they built the field greens at the middle school, everything kind of migrated to that.
So that.
because it's part of that land complex, I'm assuming it's probably town owned.
Yes, town owned athletic fields. The only thing I got from Bruce Martin was no dogs allowed on the fields.
Right.
Well, on the fields.
On the fields, yeah.
There's got to be room for exploration.
So I think that's a,
I mean, the reality is enforcing that. Unless you're gonna drive by.
When John walked the dog that night, we were
Yeah,
there.
100%.
He was on a leash and he was not on the athletic field.
I mean,
but as long as they're not on the athletic field themselves, it's in a designated sort of area that's
Right.
gated and cordoned off for that use, I think that would be
all right, that's awesome.
okay, but,
The geese too, if there's people around.
Yeah.
It's almost half built.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
That's really
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
so I will continue to look into that.
Great.
What's the next step on that?
Looking to see what steps would need to be taken in order to, for the dog park side of the conversation to like establish it as a formal dog park. It's not being used as anything now.
Right.
And so just getting a sense on what the next steps are for that. For the skate park, I think it would be worth sort of like making sure that it's not being used for something else. But it didn't look like it was. There were a lot of kids sort of like playing in there, sort of like because their siblings might have been sort of playing football at practice. But it's sort of like exploring grants and sort of opportunities to sort of like do the feasibility studies needed to make sure that it would fit into a skate park. But as the person who volunteered for that project, I can kind of take those next steps and provide updates at an upcoming meeting.
That's great.
Secondarily, the geese management plan, because I have been looking into this a little bit. The egg addling, which seems to be somewhat the preferred option of most humane societies and PETA and the ASPCA. Egg addling has to be done early in the season in the spring, when the eggs sort of like first get laid. And so obviously it's a little late right now to sort of think about that, but I think we should maybe identify a meeting or process early to mid-fall of this year to sort of like maybe bring in some folks who have gone through that process and sort of learn from them about how and when to do it.
I did talk to, I did ask Adam if he has had a chance to look at, a goose control strategy, and he said he has, and he found some really interesting ideas too. I'll tell you, one of the things that worked back when I was a DPW commissioner, because I did a report, we put a fence up around Hobart Pond. Down at the Essex Street side, there was a black chain link fence that we put up. And we also, the DPW used to put up a fence around the pond in the park, because there's literature and there's research that if you prevent them from going off the water onto the grass to feed and to breed, they won't stick around. And you got to do that in the spring. And it worked. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why we stopped doing that or why the fence was removed. I don't
I
know.
think it was all aesthetics.
Probably, because the weeds grow in there and
Yeah,
everything. But,
buckthorn gets into the fence.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
right. But it certainly worked in the park.
Okay.
So Adam will present, some additional ideas.
Okay.
But that's good.
And then the other project that I've sort of taken on is the ADA grant. The application deadline has gone. I decided to maybe delay till next funding cycle, only because there seems to be a whole lot of things that should be done beforehand to prepare you to do an assessment that the town is not ready for, in terms of like having certain policies in place or certain policies publicly posted, which doesn't seem to be the case, and a clear sort of like idea of who could potentially be an ADA coordinator for the project. And so once Matt's on board, and I know that Mary Beth has announced to retire, so there's a lot of transition and things. I didn't think this was the right time to sort of like do that project. And so next year, once we have sort of like a better idea of what to put ourselves in place to be a more competitive candidate next year. And this is a goal for like years 1 through 3, so it's certainly still on the timeline for that.
Yeah, as far as on the recreation side, I actually just got a number at our meeting for the what it would cost to fix the lift for the pool. It was $10,000. So we're still going to keep kind of going down the CPC route to see if we get funding for it. But if we don't haven't secured funding by next year, hopefully maybe.
Yep, and by having a planning grant to do the ADA assessment, and once the ADA assessment and self-evaluation plan is done, then you can apply to state funds for projects.
Yeah.
Like that one.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that goal, identify physical barriers, we're going to move to 27? And if we do, just because of all the changes, and if we do, is there a goal that maybe we want to revisit?
No, I mean, I think, and I don't have the action plan memorized yet, but if I remember,
1 to 3.
Identify physical barriers, ADA. The time frame is years 1 through 3. So I didn't tie it to calendar years.
Yeah.
It's sort of like years 1 through 3. So as long as we do it by 2028, 2029, we're still in place. So I don't think we necessarily need to like.
Do we want
add
to
anything.
switch something? Do we want to move something into 2026? Or are we?
No, I think we have
We've got
plenty to sort
plenty
of
to
keep us
keep us
busy
going.
still. Yeah, because the dog park and skate park is
Yeah,
probably
it's
going to
gonna
take
take
a
a
number of, a bit.
Okay.
And we have other things here. We can sort of certainly do the prep to get us in place to be a competitive candidate next year over the next 6 months. And so I think we're still good in terms of action items.
Yeah, Bruce Martin was working on that, but he mentioned that to Mary Beth. Town Hall is aware of it, because Bruce was applying for a grant for a wheelchair swing. Somebody wanted to do a fundraiser for a wheelchair swing at the playground. And then he became aware of this grant. On Tuesday, he became aware of the grant, and of course, the grant closed Friday.
We're always late to these.
He's working hard on it, but he came across the grievance procedures that aren't quite policy yet, and some other things that he mentioned that the town has to formally adopt, I guess. They are aware of it.
Yeah, let me pull up what those are real quick. ADA grant. Yes. Apply for a grant. All right, so ADA administrative requirements. The ADA has 5 administrative requirements to municipalities, some of which only apply to municipalities that have more than 50 municipal employees. To be eligible for the grant, municipalities of any size, even those with less than 50 employees, housing authorities, and school district, must meet the first 3 administrative requirements. This information must be up to date and posted publicly, which is why I had the questions. This means you must have a notice of non-discrimination. Does Whitman, and I haven't figured this out yet, but I'm sure Whitman must have a notice of non-discrimination, and if they do, it needs to be posted publicly. A grievance procedure, again, I'm not sure if Whitman has one, and if they do, they need to post it publicly for this, and then an ADA coordinator. You don't need one in place before you apply. It can be part of the overall process, but I think at least having someone identified ahead of time is always helpful. And then if you're applying for a project grant, which we wouldn't be at that point, you must also have an ADA self-evaluation and an ADA transition plan, which is what we would be applying for next year. The maximum grant award, at least for this funding cycle, was $250,000 per community. we wouldn't be applying for quite that much. So want to make sure that those things are in place and publicly posted before we apply. So I can work with, I suppose, town leadership to make sure that those are actually in place and that they're publicly posted. And if not, the town would need to draft them and we can support them as needed.
Did we discuss Matt Dyer as a possibility for that coordinator?
Yeah, I kind of voluntold him for that.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it hasn't been sort of like obviously solidified because he hasn't been in that role yet. But I think that would be a good thing for him to do in lieu of a town planner, who's one of usually the people who fill that role.
The building commissioner,
Or the building committee, yes.
if they have time. I mean, all the time they have.
Are they full time again?
No.
Believe so.
Okay.
Any questions on East Management ADA grant, dog park, skate park?
No, I think that's awesome about the potential at Memorial Field.
Yeah.
I almost was thinking the dog park's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, when I saw that area, I was like, oh, this would be perfect for that.
I mean, since the start of the steering committee, I've been obsessed with that plot of land because I knew that's where they held all the skate park stuff forever, and I knew there used to be batting cages there, and I had been to that field a few times in the past few years, but I hadn't gone back there. And when I went back there, I was like, this is bigger than I remembered. I just remember 2 small batting cages. It's a good sized, already fenced in area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of logistics that are going to have to go into this, but let's take it stepwise. But yeah.
Yep.
And I know talking with Laura Howe, the animal control, she's not in favor of dog park because of bites, things of that nature, dog fights, blah 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 blah, rabies.
I mean, anywhere you have dog, you would have the potential of these kinds of things anyway. So,
It's always bad owners.
Correct.
all right. So 2 other updates here: invasive species workshop and invasive species plan. So whoever wants to take that.
Yep. So awesome. So we held the invasive species presentation with Mass Wildlife this week, and about 15 people attended. It was videotyped by Whitman Hanson Cable Access, and it went really good. People asked a lot of questions. It was very informative. Not a lot of good solutions, to be honest with you, other than you got to maintain your properties. And there was some ideas that were presented that people picked up. A couple of interesting ones that were thrown out there is the use of goats. Me and Hanson actually used goats pretty successfully. So it's a good business opportunity if anybody wants to buy goats and rent them out.
Goatscaping.
Right.
Yeah, in the Southwest Corridor in Boston, there was this big program where they brought in goats to clear off a whole lot of poison ivy
Yeah,
that was sort of
100%.
taken over in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. But if you get a chance to, see it on cable, that'd be great. Do you know when it's going to be? Is it on 8 or on Channel 9?
It should be on 9, but we also upload it to YouTube. So I'll share the link to the committee when it's done, and I'll actually probably throw the link. I created a folder for that specific day. I put some pictures in there, but I believe my colleague Rob, that was filming it with one of our newer interns.
Yep.
I believe he might have actually gotten the presentation from her too, so I can put that presentation in that folder so we have that to be shared out later on. But it was great. Stella made a friend.
Yeah.
And now I'm just seeing those I think she maybe shared like 5 or 6 at the beginning, like specific
Plants.
Plants that are an issue here. And I know that not garlic mustard, is it?
Yep, garlic.
Garlic mustard was one you were talking about.
Yep,
She put.
yep.
I'm seeing it everywhere
Yeah,
now. I'm
yeah.
just driving around like,
Once
oh,
you
there it
know,
is.
yeah.
There it is.
Stop pulling out.
Yeah.
But it went really well. So, I mean, I don't know about doing repeat, type of events or not, but certainly we should. I think there's a desire for those educational workshops, so we should think about continuing this on an annual basis.
Yeah,
The topics.
in the action plan itself, again, let me find it. That's the section. That's not it either. So, I'm just trying to find the goal that it is. Manage and reduce invasive species. So the actual action tied to that goal or objective is develop an invasive species plan and host educational workshops. And so whether or not it's that workshop held at a regular sort of what's wrong for frequency,
Yeah.
or it's sort of like different topics on similar invasive species or whatnot, or I think the invasive species plan was sort of the main goal that we wanted to, and then sort of like the workshop support, bringing people in so they're educated around invasive species.
So interestingly enough, Hanson Conservation attended the presentation as well. And we talked a little bit about, so Kara Frost, she's the biologist a botanist from Mass Wildlife that did the presentation. That's her role, is to help develop invasive species management plans. And I asked whether or not Hanson has a plan, because she did talk about your neighbors, right? Just because you got a yard that's full of invasive species and you rip it up, if your neighbor has it, it's coming back. So don't waste the effort. So it was a good segue into what Hanson and Abington are doing.
Yep.
Hanson does not have a plan, but I think that there's a really good opportunity, just because of the networking that we shared afterwards, to be able to develop one together. So I sent the contact information to Leanne, gave you a shout out that it's on your list to get done. Hurry up.
Yeah, right.
So, maybe that's, at least a step forward.
Yeah, that's perfect, because as I was researching a little bit more recently, our neighbors that don't have plans, and there's really no comparable towns that I could find, like peer type of towns that have plans.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of these outlying towns that have a lot of resources or a lot more land than we do. But it doesn't mean we can't have one.
Yeah.
Especially if Hanson's interested too, to do it in a partnership. I think it's good.
Yeah, and I'll send you Caro's contact information.
Great, thank you.
Because that's what she does.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you, I was thinking kind of when we were filming the presentation about the possibility of maybe trying to make a more condensed video where maybe it's something like a little more exciting, like out showing, like going out and finding invasive plants in different public spaces, and like I could kind of produce a short, like 5-minute video that kind of condenses down the information from the presentation, if she would, or anybody from Mass Wildlife would be interested in kind of producing something like that for public access, and kind of just
For their use as well, too.
yeah.
I think we should do a burn.
Yeah.
What?
A burn.
Just burn it all.
He showed pictures of controlled burns. It was pretty cool.
The fire chief, we'll have a new fire chief then.
Yeah.
Welcome to winter time too, so.
That's right. Welcome.
Another new turn. Love that.
So we need a date for development of the plan.
Yeah. Okay. So this was
At least target a draft.
yeah,
date.
for sure. Okay. I'm just trying to think. 6 months. I mean, I would want to get in touch and do a little talking with Hanson and with Mass Wildlife, I think. So I mean,
She's going to really be able to help you.
yeah, that's really good. I don't know, maybe like checking in 3 months on it.
End of September.
Yeah. Work on it over the summer. All right. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I was trying to think. I did update some of my notes on this, our shared draft as well, just as because I went back to this. Couple other things. I think that's an awesome idea, Ryan, about, so I can pop that into here too, so we can keep track of that, because I think that could support the ongoing education.
Yeah.
And I think we should try to host some sort of workshop like annually, and I think we can time it too, so it's like in the late winter, so then folks are ready to go for the, the spring. And I noticed the library seems to be hosting a number of kind of workshops that have to do with like outdoors, like bees and whatnot.
Butterflies, yeah.
So I mean that's good. So maybe that, you know, there seems like that's a good place to be doing this. The other thing was, now that the Conservation Commission is gaining control over our own website, I did look up some examples of what some other towns have on their conservation or town websites related to invasive species. So,
Nice.
and it's not, it doesn't have to be extensive. It's just like briefly, like, you know, what's in our area and like what do I do? So I have some examples there, so we can come back to that on conservation as we update our website. The other thing was for conservation, for orders and conditions and things like that, we could consider addressing removal of invasive plants within that context too. That's kind of just a side note for us to be thinking about as we go forward. And then on the proactive side, that's kind of not removing invasive species, but planting native plants. Another idea, we already have so many ideas, but potentially a native plant seed library. This would be in partnership with the library. It seems like there are some of these present around in our neighboring towns. It may not be a huge lift to do it, but I'm just going to keep this on my radar. This would probably be like next spring, summer to look at that. So.
I think that the native plant seed library, I think that may become very useful with respect to the Hobart Dam replacement.
Okay.
Because part of that will be disturbance around the dam. And one of the community engagement activities is planting native species.
Okay. Yeah.
To support the ecology. So, and a lot of times maybe the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts can be involved in that. But if we have seedlings and seeds to help them get going, that's a great community effort.
All right. What is for the timeline for the what is the timeline for that again? Can you remind me?
It's kind of dependent on grants, but the plan, if things would go well, the replacement would start in the 2028. So we've got a little bit of time,
Okay.
Yeah. but just something to sort of keep in mind for the
Yeah,
future.
that's good. It's all connected.
Yep.
Any more discussion on that?
Sure. It's all.
All right, and then the only other piece of old business that I had a note on to check up on is the list of culverts. I have not been able to find anything online that has a complete list. If one doesn't exist, then
I believe one.
Didn't you provided us a list, right?
They've been working on the MS4 stormwater plan for quite some time, and it's always, you need to update it.
because I looked at the previous MS4 and it's not listed in there in terms
It's
of.
had a map,
Okay.
Yeah,
and all there, so there is a map.
there is a map.
list.
Yeah.
Is that what we're looking at that had the black dots
Yeah.
where they were?
That's the website that I
okay.
that Matt shared with me.
You know, what he sent, he's got it on the map, but
That's it, and I found that in the plan, but
Okay,
it's like
maybe I'm not looking at the right thing.
2018.
should,
I don't know how up to date it is.
well, so there's a plan, culvert plan,
It's a stormwater.
stormwater.
Mm-hmm.
And
And that was last updated one, 2018?
I'm not exactly sure. I think that the map I sent you was from 2018.
So it's probably time to do an update to that? And is that
That's
something?
part of the MS4 process.
That's ongoing through the town hires engineers to run that program.
So on our charge list was to sort of inventory all the culverts and identify which ones need sort of like repair or, additional maintenance.
So
In order to do that,
The way to do that is to get that listing, make sure that
Yeah, the
listing is
town's
up to
already
date.
engaged with, I believe it's Apex Engineering in there. They manage it.
So we should get that listing and then go do site visits. So like the one I sent you.
Part of what they do as well.
Because they will sort of, from an engineering standpoint, sort of gauge the condition of a culvert and sort of like which ones are in. So if they have that, and if they're doing that work, then we would just get that and sort of identify which ones are more pressing than the rest of them.
And do they have a due date?
There's a lot of dates I'm not up to date on. Bruce is retiring and I'm moving into that role, so a lot of this stuff is going to be
Right.
falls in my lap. So
Nice.
I'll be able to hopefully
Get those
keep
answers.
it rolling. I know it's pretty extensive and they've been working on it for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's all up to date.
Is it, just out of curiosity, would it be worthwhile for this committee to maybe have somebody from Apex come in and discuss it?
I don't know because I don't know where it stands right now.
I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense, yeah, if we could just kind of understand if they just sort of work on this on like a rolling basis over like a, period of a few years, or if they like all at once go out and be like, for the next 3 months, we're looking at all the culverts and then giving you a report.
Right.
It's really good that they're doing it. We don't have to look for every
We
single
don't have to do it.
Right.
Since a lot of those areas are low in poison ivy and
That's,
overgrowth and
yeah.
ticks and terrible places to go.
So maybe that's an avenue, maybe you could talk to Bruce.
I know the MS4 plan has been like falling through the cracks a little bit. It's
So if they're doing it, maybe bringing them in here so they understand the importance of getting it done. I'm sure you guys could pay that too,
I mean, there's rules and regulations.
that they need to
It
follow.
has to be done.
Yeah. I don't know, what do you think? Is it worth asking them to come in and
I don't know.
maybe talk to Bruce and see what you guys think? We don't want
Asking the engineers to come in is usually expensive.
to, just do it for free. We'd like
Engineers
an
don't do
update.
anything for free.
I mean, I can do whatever I can to find out.
That's very true.
There's a lot falling in my lap, so it's going to be a lot. And
Okay,
That-
we'll leave it on you for right
that'll
now.
just be part
Or
of
at least a status update of when their intended sort of
Yeah.
Yeah.
release date is, just so that we can sort of like plan out our. Any additional discussion on the culvert assessment piece? And then once we have a list and we identify which ones are more priorities than not, that's a service that OCPC provides in terms of like doing the actual like additional assessments and assisting with sort of the getting the next steps together to actually have them repaired and maintained and those kinds of things.
Or is that something that Apex, is that part of their role?
I'll let you know.
Apex, no,
So
they're,
that way we're not
I believe-
redundancy.
I believe Apex just does the engineering. If they do the actual culvert work, I'm sure that comes with a price tag. Whereas OCPC, we get grant money to do it.
I got you.
So it depends on if you want to have the town pay
Yeah.
X number of dollars to upgrade or repair a culvert, or if you want sort of like grant funding to sort of pay for it.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Anything else in terms of old business that folks want to raise? All right. So in terms of new business, I've been sort of looking at goal 10.4, which is develop revenue generating activities to support open space and recreation opportunities, specifically paddle boats. And this idea of maybe renting paddle boats, small 1 to 2 person paddle boats, potentially for Hobart Pond. They offer a whole lot of them. I've found sort of paddle boats in the shapes of all sorts of animals and sort of like, just the flat ones. They range in price from $2,700 to $10,000. And I'm looking into if there's any sort of like, I don't know, arts or sort of arts and culture oriented grants that might be able to support the purchase of paddle boats for recreational use. Just some quick back of the napkin math. If you rent them out for, let's say, $50 for half an hour to, I don't know, $75 for 45 minutes, depending on how much they get used, the town could raise anywhere, let's say, between $10,000 to 15 to 20,000 in the summer, which would bring in additional revenue that could be earmarked for certain activities or recreation or those kinds of things. Which one summer could fund the lift, for example.
Yeah.
So
Kayak rentals too, or
it's optional. I've just been looking at paddle boats because I think paddle boats would be fun, like geese paddle boats and
Well,
Hobart.
I work near the 4 Point Channel, so we've been watching them.
oh, is there a dragon?
Yeah,
They're
they're all in like
yeah,
they're
they're
giant animals.
Have you noticed the number
Museum.
of canoes and kayaks over?
No, I haven't recently. No.
Yeah, there's been quite a number of canoes and kayaks.
Not as much as I would think.
Yes, especially where that boat launch now.
Right.
It's beautiful, but I walk it every day, and there was kayak yesterday, and there were canoes last
I
week.
think you'd see more, actually.
I'm expecting to see a
Yeah.
motorcraft.
People are just out of habit
You're
going.
not supposed to, there's no sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, the conservation used to have signs up in there, but
Yeah,
managed by conservation, no motorized.
yeah.
I think
We
the
did,
signs are long.
I did bring it up at the conservation meeting that we need to put signage up there.
Oh, so there shouldn't be motorized
No.
on
No,
either side
Boston.
of Hobart?
Yeah.
No.
All right. If I see people, I'll yell at them.
Yeah.
Because there was one guy when I
Electric
was
motors
there
are
to clean
okay.
up there.
Electric motors are okay, just gasoline power.
Oh, okay. I think it was an electric.
Yeah, there was an electric one out there, yeah.
We still have the gasoline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Water, yeah.
All right. I won't yell at anybody unless I know for sure.
Cool. And update on the rail trail. So Matt has switched positions, so a new person from OCPC is
Yep.
taking over John Fay.
Yep.
And I'll hear at the end of July whether or not the grant was awarded for feasibility.
So they haven't gone to the stage of the land acquisition for any of those private lots that they're.
No.
Okay. So that once
We
they
have some challenges.
the feasibility grant.
Well, you'd want the feasibility
first, yeah.
study first, because if it turns out that none of this is feasible, then it doesn't matter who
doesn't
the
matter.
ownership is, because
Yeah.
Yeah, when I put the grant in, I took Hobart Meadow because would be reflective of Bear Meadow, but it's a longer distance, and so we'll see what comes out of it.
All right. Awesome.
But I will say, it's a double-edged sword that I'm riding on this, going across the meadow, because one, it's wetlands, right? But my understanding is, there's ways to do it. But to have foot traffic going through the meadow, is there trash? Is there fire? Is there bad behavior? How is it monitored? How's it policed? And are we gonna look to potentially destroy the wetlands? So that's weighing heavy. But at the flip side of, it's beautiful back there. I've been out there when I was younger, and I know what it looks like. But, so we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. But the feasibility is the first place to start.
I mean, I think in terms of, I don't know, small P policing or managing the area, if it's sort of a new pathway, a new area to sort of like walk through, there's gonna be lots of foot traffic, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And sort of like lots of eyes in the area outside of, non-operational hours, like at night. But you can sort of like post signage, I suppose, to sort of like, I don't know, discourage, so maybe, or like, discourage sort of like people going in there after dusk for like between dusk and dawn, for example. So there might be ways to sort of do
And
it.
I think that's,
Plastic police take notice sign. Always deterred me as a teenager.
yeah, really? Are you kidding?
Go find another spot.
Signs are only suggestions.
Yes, exactly. I think that that's feasible. The other thing is, so Hanson has a lot of trails, and they specifically have a conservation commissioner who's responsible for trails. That's
Yeah.
that person.
That's great. Yeah.
So there may be some lessons learned that we can gain from them as we look to develop this.
So a potential role for Matt beyond ADA coordinator is pathway and trails monitor.
I don't know, it's Matt or.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
We just throw him out.
I'm giving him more work.
Yeah, give him more work. Throw him under the bus. Wait, who's not here? It's going to be Adam. If you're not present for a meeting, that's when you get assigned everything.
Definitely.
Anything else that people want to raise, have been thinking about as it relates to our focus areas?
As far as the cleanup days go, Hobart went all right. It's kind of discouraging seeing trash issues popping up, seemingly because of the Boy Scout project. People overfilling those and throwing trash all around the fishing line receptacles. So I'm still kind of mulling around a second day. I kind of wanted to do a day with Harding's Pond being kind of the base of operations and sending people out from there. Sorry to you guys for just dumping the trash at the top of the hill behind the old building there. I didn't realize that the gate was going to be closed that Saturday because I had asked Bruce if we could use it. Yeah,
It's all the dumps. It was fine.
yeah. So I'll do a little bit better coordinating with that stuff for the next one. But
Right.
I'm still mulling around a date. I'm looking maybe in like late July or something to meet at Harding's and maybe coordinate a little bit earlier with Angela to kind of get her network together. But it was a fun day for me. I mean, I just fished a whole lot of trash out of the pond. I found trash from like the 80s.
Well, you had that baseball bat that was barely
Yeah.
recognizable as such.
Yeah. So yeah, and I kind of want to still kind of keep working on figuring out kind of pulling people together to maybe make like some sort of like trash pickup club. I know the big joke on the Whitman Facebook page is, will this affect trash pickup? So I was thinking of like maybe like T-shirts that say this will affect trash pickup and like open space and recreation plan cleanup crew and come join us, bring us 5 bags of trash and get a T-shirt kind of thing. So I'm kind of mulling around ideas like that and possible funding, like maybe going to timeout the shirt printing company to see if they can maybe donate like 20 shirts or something like that. And I want to work towards a goal eventually of having possibly like a town-wide cleanup day where it's like a mobilized big thing where other departments and town administration is involved. So yeah, I think by the next meeting, maybe I'll have firmed up on a date for July, and I'll start promoting that.
So we had a couple of items that we've talked about for tasks to support that. One was to contact the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
There's potential resources to help police or monitor and clean up those areas. Also contacting the high school for community service.
Yeah.
And the big one, so as I go on my walks around and I go down to the boulevard, I'm soliciting, you'd be perfect for a Hobart Pond, friend of Hobart Pond. Would you like to chair it? So I honestly think we should sort of push that a little bit for back for the park, for Hobart's Pond and for Harding Pond. So I don't know if that's something that we want to, maybe where Hobart's and Harding sort of fall under the purview of conservation, maybe that's something we should advertise. Development of that, of working with recreation and this board to develop those
Do we look into just structurally with these groups, like if we do Friends of Hobart Pond, Friends of Harding Pond, like structurally? Because we had talked about doing fundraising. Do they need to be like designated as such? I don't even know what question to ask really, but structurally, what?
Yeah, they can't be appointed, so because we're as part of this board or commissioning, or you can't fundraise. They can. So in my mind too, as I think about this, as I try to find people, I just talk to random people. I was thinking about going to see June O'Leary because she was really big for the park, and she'd probably there'd be some lessons there from her on how it worked, how she pulled it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just as sort of a thought process.
And I'm long overdue in researching and figuring this out because we desperately need a Friends of the Pool. I mean, we just had to tentatively cancel like the second 2 sessions of our swim lessons this summer. Our revolving fund is depleting faster and faster, and we our only funding right now is our director. So there used to be a Friends of the Pool. There's a Friends of the Playground. Somebody had dropped off some old bank statements from Rockland Trust. That was the Friends of the Pool. So I think I just need to set a meeting with town administration, which is tough because of all the changeover, but kind of just figuring out the right way to go about starting these. But like you're saying, also finding the people outside of us that are willing to do it.
The summer camp might be a good way to sort of get the word out because these parents are dropping their kids off to use the pool and to use the park. And so it's like, here's an opportunity for you to sort of get involved and get engaged with sort of like the amenities and the resources that your kids are benefiting from.
Yeah, I think, I'll be at Whitman Day too. So I think I feel like I need like a better presentation it's just hard to, like Ed is saying, just stop people and like, start this, do it.
Yep.
I feel like
Everyone loves it, but it's hard to convince.
it's just figuring out what the guardrails are and how to do it. I think,
That's wwhy I thought June would be a good resource.
Yeah.
Because, she really, I don't know if you guys went to any of the meetings. I was a liaison because I was a DPW commissioner.
Do they meet regularly anymore?
No, it's gone. It's the
Yeah, my mom was on that committee for a while.
she really had it down.
There's
Yeah.
no more Friends of the Park.
No more Friends of the Park, She really had, because, I don't know, she retired or whatever, and it just didn't continue.
So the one thing to be aware of is around structure of a friends group. If the primary function is to raise funds and, fundraise and get money for public purposes, it's recommended that you be a 501c3, publicly recognized 501c3, because then people are more likely to donate because the tax write-off benefit, I think, in some cases, or it's a charitable benefit in some cases. If it's sort of just to steward or the focus is not on specific charitable given, then you can be an unincorporated group.
Yeah.
But people tend not to donate much to, and you can't get grants as an unincorporated
You
group.
can't get grants.
If you're a 501c3, you can fundraise. It's more effective for fundraising. You can go after grants. I don't think you have to be you don't have to be a recognized 501c3 to get CPC funds. It probably doesn't hurt, but for those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to do the 503C.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It just, that was, I guess that's what I was trying to
It's just a lot of paperwork.
That's what,
it's an easy
paperwork.
process.
So
It is, but, I think of the park, some of the creative things, I don't know if you guys know, when you go to the playground, there's a walkway with bricks. They sold bricks for a certain amount of money, you want one, but that all helps, and that money was used towards, developing or maintenance of the park. We could do the same thing for Hobart, let's do the same thing for
Have
Harding.
you gotten contact information from anybody at Hobart? Because I met somebody during the cleanup who was interested in this getting active. So like, if we could gather contact, we could like reach out to the people and be like, listen, we're discussing this, but we need someone to spearhead this and start, the process. Because we can't.
To Bob's point, oh, that sounds great. Oh, I don't really have time. You know what I
Well,
mean?
the person I met seemed kind of
Yeah,
invested.
for
so
Hobart,
maybe
or-
for Hobart, yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe we can reach out to her.
yeah.
It's just we can't really provide any guidance, so we're kind of out of the picture. We're just being that's a little tricky.
We're facilitating it, but yeah,
Yeah, we would facilitate.
facilitate finding someone to get it going. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay, all right.
But I think that's definitely a missed opportunity that we need to kind of push.
And then just quickly, in terms of goal 2, I've been looking at 2 additional sort of strategies. The first is modernize zoning. Goal 2.1, modernize zoning to promote conservation. This one is regarding low impact development, or LIDs, in conservation subdivisions. This isn't identified in the plan until years 3 through 7. However, since I'm working on the town's housing production plan and potentially the master plan, if that project is funded, this would fit in there, right? And so it would be an opportunity to sort of move that forward in terms of low impact development strategies. I don't think there's any real room in the community for additional subdivisions. However, there might be opportunity for like smaller cluster or sort of like open space cluster development. That will come out of the housing production plan process and master plan process, but I wanted to flag that. And then goal 2.2, identify land for permanent protection. I think that's also years 1 through 3. I think the site visit of Edward Drive is an opportunity to sort of like, if that becomes available for tax taking in town, sort of absorption into like the acquisition for the town, that would be permanently protected through Conservation Commission. So.
Yep.
But that's all I got. In terms of our next meeting, Ryan, in order to make sure we have quorum and don't run into the same issue we ran into last month, Ed said that Adam is pretty busy until July, and so taking a look at that, and Ed's not going to be here. We were looking at potentially switching our June 25th meeting to June 22nd, which is the Monday of that week at 6:30. And I didn't want to move it in my calendar until speaking with you.
I don't know. I am camping, but we may be back Monday night. Let me check.
I mean, as long as we have 4 of us, we're
Both-
good.
Yeah, you're good, but both of you,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, so yeah, and I'm good for, that's fine.
I think I might be back. I believe we're checking out of the campground at like 11 a.m. So we should be back from New Hampshire.
Okay. And because this is my last time serving on a town board or commission, I will ask this to the folks who have been part of this process. If you don't have quorum, can you still meet? You just can't vote on anything, right?
I'm not sure. I mean,
I think that's the case.
last week we had a recreation posted meeting, but nobody came. But there was somebody who was there for more business about renting fields, and it wasn't really a matter that the whole committee needed to vote on. So I think you can, as long as you're not, discussing anything that needs official votes. I think you can meet to discuss.
I think that's correct. I think that's correct. I mean, we still post it if there's,
Just by attendance, by quorum at meeting or another public body, provided no deliberation.
deliberation.
Yeah. So I guess yes.
So then we could still meet on that Thursday. We just wouldn't be able to vote on anything.
Yeah.
Does the Thursday work for people rather than the Monday?
Yes.
Either or.
I mean, the reality is, when you think about this board, we don't do a lot of voting anyways.
No, we don't.
No, it's just the approval of the minutes, in
Yeah.
which case we can hold until
We can hold
we
it.
have.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fine.
Yeah, I might not even have the meeting minutes done by then, so.
Or we've vote, since Ed won't be here, for him to be the the trail monitoring.
That's right. Trail police.
Monitor.
I might like that. Just, you know.
That's true. And then as it relates to this committee, not sure if you've seen it in the select board agendas, but I was appointed to the CPC.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
So for what that's worth, you write an open space plan and then everyone wants you to be on these
Right.
committees. So
Wait, so you don't have to get
It's
appointed
done.
because Brian has joined CPC?
Well, I
And-
think, because he's the liaison for conservation though.
Oh,
I
that's
think
true.
it's-
I was appointed as
Member
at large.
Oh, okay.
I was replacing
Yeah, Richard.
Richard Rose.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So-
Okay, good. Awesome. You're not busy.
I know. No.
You need more to do.
No, don't let my wife hear you say that because next week I'm working 4 of the 5 evenings. But it keeps me busy. Anything else folks want to raise? Okay, seeing it's 7:35.
Wait, so are we keeping Thursday or are we changing it to
Yeah.
Monday?
Honestly, the Thursday works better for me.
I'll leave it.
Me
Okay.
too. Yeah, Thursday works better.
All right, so we'll just keep it as is.
Okay.
And then if anything, it's probably just gonna be an update meeting anyway.
Yeah.
So be quick. It'll be a half an hour.
The other thing I wanted to mention too, so again, when you look at the list, so I'm done with the invasive species presentation is done. It's kind of over with. If somebody needs some support on something that you're working on, you're taking the lead on, feel free to hit me up.
Yeah.
Hey, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded. All right, all in favor? Meeting over.